Hello everyone, welcome to a very sunny Nottingham Hockey Centre, bringing you today on BTV Premier Division action between Beeston and the University of Exeter. It's a big game, it's got a big credit park on the front. I'm Andy Day in the hot seat today, and sitting next to me is Steve Musson.
Good afternoon, Andy.
How are you doing today?
I'm a lot better this week than last week. The weather is just miles different, opposite ends of the spectrum in comparison to last week.
It's it's the difficult one to judge. We were soaked a week ago, and it's almost like summertime has arrived. A quick look, if we can, at the today's weather features. This is what we've got. It's looking like 9 degrees. The rain is very, very unlikely. It's sunny with a moderate breeze from the southeast, so things are looking good for conditions-wise for hockey today. Let's look quickly back at yesterday's action before we can bring you to today. In the Women's Premier Division, this is how things look after yesterday's results. Surbiton are 3 points clear from Hampstead and Westminster. Hampstead and Westminster winning here 24 hours ago. Wimbledon are in 4th, East Grinstead in 3rd, and Beeston and Clifton Robinson's a little bit further back. Beeston on 17, Clifton Robinson's on 13. And Beeston didn't do badly at all yesterday, but I think it was just a touch of professionalism different between Hampstead and Westminster.
I think that's right. I mean, I think that league table shows the dominance of the top 4. Beeston doing very well to get themselves away from the 6th position.
Indeed. A quick look, if we can, at yesterday's results as well. In the Women's Premier Division, big win for Surbiton, as we mentioned. Hampstead and Westminster coming away with the points here. And it was a away win at Clifton Robinson's for Wimbledon. We don't yet have the result from Swansea Loughborough Students, but it was another away win for Buckingham at Holcombe yesterday. Let's turn our attention now to today. You can see the teams are almost ready to make their way out onto the field of play. These are the positions in the men's competition. Surbiton winning 3-2 yesterday. The other fixtures today: East Grinstead, Holcombe, Wimbledon, Old Georgians, Durham University versus Brooklands Manchester University, and today's game here on BTV, Beeston versus University of Exeter. This is the position. Beeston are a little bit clear of the chasing pack in the bottom 5. Today's visitors, as you can see from the table, they've got 1 point, drawing 1, but it doesn't tell you the story of their season so far.
I think that's right. I mean, some of those games, as we were discussing earlier, Andy, they've been very close from Exeter's point of view. So and I think it's a mistake to be complacent in any of the fixtures with Premier League hockey.
Indeed. Looking at some of the results so far, Exeter University, or University of Exeter, have been beaten by 7 goals, by once 5 by 1, 4 by once, 2 by 1, but the other 6 defeats have just been by 1 goal, so it's a lot tighter than that table may suggest. As the teams are being introduced to each other in the middle of the field of play, let's introduce you to a few of the characters today. Beeston, they are a relatively settled side. James Hunt departs from a week ago, and incoming, a famous face.
Absolutely. Stephen Wood is back on the squad for the first time in a number of years. More National League caps than pretty much anybody in the in English hockey, and he's stepped up to the plate again. It's great to see.
Indeed, so that's the only change in the Matchday 16 from a week ago. Looking at the University of Exeter Matchday 16, there's a couple of familiar faces. Max Lowry scored on this ground back in November time, and also the excellent Taylor Seeger-Green in the Exeter goal.
Yeah, I do think there might be a bit of a competition between the keepers today, because if the game's anything like last week, a bit end-to-end, and I think keepers will be fully involved in this match today as well.
A few more people to welcome you to as well. Your umpires, Isaac Charles and Andy Higgins. Everything's been put together at the desk by Christine O'Donovan. So you are up to date, you're fully appraised of the situation. We've now got a great game that looks very promising indeed ahead of us. Yeah,
I think from Beeston's point of view, I'm looking forward to watching the force of nature that is Henry Croft, who had an excellent game last week, and I think he's getting better all the time. And his combination with Sam Apula on the forward line is very dangerous from Beeston's point of view. So that's certainly something to watch out for today.
There's one tiny bit of match shirt bingo that we're looking to sort out, and that's the number that Stephen Wood will be wearing, but we'll work that out soon enough. We suspect it might be 5, but that may not be the case.
Yes, his career-defining number 5 is... I would imagine we'd probably find himself in that today.
Just to set the scene a little bit further, you can see today's visitors, University of Exeter, in all white, playing from right to left, attacking the car park end in the first half. Beeston today in all black, and hopefully for us describing it, moving from left to right, attacking the boulevard end in the first half.
Well, we did see a bit of end-to-end stuff last week, Andy, which we talked about a lot, and I think Beeston will be very keen to try to dominate possession as much as they can and not let it be so end-to-end. And equally, we'll see the same sort of thing from Exeter. Their energy levels will be high, just as Durham's were, so I think it's going to be a competitive match.
You can see a few early touches, setting the stall out, gaining possession and confidence on the ball from University of Exeter. A couple of interesting touches from Nick Nurse, currently on the ball, 21, Sam Taylor. From a personal note, delight to see big, thick numbers on the back of white shirts.
Yes, it makes life a bit easier for us here in the commentary box. Beeston just been sitting off a bit at the start of the game, allowing Exeter to have this early possession, which I think they ought really to try to stop. Ball hit away to nothing, so back into long corner for Exeter.
Good start from the visitors, just easing themselves into the game, trying to find a route through, and that doesn't work. And no matter how many times you can carry on pressing towards the baseline, if the whistle's blown, you're not going to get any progress. I must say, another impressive movement, Ansley.
Yeah, very quick start here, and again that was Josh Pavish just mopping things up at the back there, trying to steady the ship, and we have a present Robbie Gleeson with his pace out from the back.
Nice aerial ball towards Sam Apula. That's nicely taken down. You can see the umpire signalling play on. Croft, as you mentioned, force of nature, making their way around the edge of the circle now. A shot on the reverse and then in for the opening goal. First chance, and what a finish that is.
Well, he didn't have a lot of room to hit that from the edge of the D. It was very tight to him, but he's executed that skill perfectly, and we know how physically strong he is, and to get that kind of power off from that tight position has been excellent, really. But he's made it all himself here.
Look at that. I think a lot of the defenders were expecting a pass, but as soon as he got just a shade inside, get that shot away and firing it in. unexpected and explosive start to the game.
Yeah, well, Henry is. I spoke to him before the game, and I think he feels that he now needs to sort of dominate his role as a forward, and he's just set Beeston off perfectly there. I think the next bit now is something that we saw last week, Andy, is having control for this next phase of the game, having just scored, and not allowing Exeter too much possession in the Beeston half.
That's goal number 5 of the season for Henry Croft.
Yeah, he's learning that habit, slowly getting into the habit of scoring, which is forwards need to do.
And also the efficiency of that attack as well. It's the first time Beeston have had any prolonged possession. Let's just break off, as this could be an equalising chance here. Padded away by Simon Hujban in the Beeston goal.
Yeah, this is what we talked about, isn't it, Andy? The composure after you've scored. I think that's probably quite a useful thing to do, just to throw the ball away to the opposite end and make Exeter start again.
So both goalkeepers have faced a shot on target. And,
yes.
Hujban coming off the better. I can't believe the pace that was delivered in again from Croft.
Yeah, I think a bit static there from Josh Pavis.
I think there may have been an expected whistle that didn't come.
I don't think you can afford to wait for that. You've got to keep playing until you've completely cleared your lines.
Camped into the circle now. Again, University of Exeter, they've been... It's just a stoppage here. We are just having someone called over. Is it just a bit of a chat, a reminder? Captain,
I think so, yeah.
Gareth Griffiths is over there. You can see the band on his left arm. Just, I think it's one of those classic less of that.
Yes,
chats.
Yeah, just the umpire making sure that he's that the players are on his wavelength, and that there's not going to be any issues long term into the game. But I think from that shot from Henry Croft for the goal, Taylor Seeger Green would have been utterly surprised by that because of the power that it was hit at.
It's not a conventional place to strike the ball. Normally you see a penalty corner dispatch from around there.
Yeah, and defenders really, trying to stop that kind of a shot, which is why Henry's done so well to get that away with 2-3 defenders around him.
Another hopeful ball. Not that we have accurate stats on this, but I think it's probably about 80% possession for University of Exeter at the moment.
Yes,
They're a goal down.
Well, it was interesting the way that Beeston started. They were very deep. There was no kind of attempt to press at all, just letting Exeter build, but the counter-attack was pretty sharp and purposeful. Just the lone ranger there, Sam Mapula, doing the hard yards up front, just tracking across the pitch.
Aerial ball has gone the way of the visitors. Again, checking back from Ben Fox. Made its way into the circle again, onto the baseline. Goalkeeper's down, and that's flashed across the face of goal.
Very close again. These right side attacks, we saw them last week as well from Durham, and University of Exeter doing exactly the same. Defenders really need to be strong on the tackle, low, making sure that they stop that progression into the D from the right forward.
Attempted skill doesn't come off, however, umpire's whistle saves a turnover.
Yeah. I do like to see the ball taken away from these half-back areas. You can see how Exeter are pressing the ball onto that side of the pitch. There's an arc of 4 forwards there, and finding your way out is a bit of a skill of the game.
A little bit of a nudge. And Robbie Gleeson, I think, was almost about to go double teapot there in frustration.
Yes. Well, I think he's come of age, really. I mean, I think he's started to dominate the middle of the park, a little bit like Adam Dixon did for Beeston, and it's very important.
Wiltshire's ball forward is good, and there's a moment where a shot could have happened. Big call for a penalty corner. Umpire says nothing doing in that.
Yeah, nice step in there to mop up the loose ball.
Croft has done well to take the ball out of the air and maintain possession and to carry it over halfway. It's almost like it's magnetised to a stick at the moment. That's a neat ball out to the left-hand side. Not controlled first time, but it comes a little bit...
with such good work from Henry there. I think it's a shame that wasn't controlled because, again, it was a pretty quality counter-attack off his run.
Apula was the player looking to be found on the left of the circle, but it was just too far to stretch for.
Yeah.
But nice idea, not quite there with the execution. I think we're going to see another action-packed game. Plenty of pace in this, in the start of this one.
Yes, yeah, I think it's a little bit like we thought. There was no lack of energy from University of Exeter at all, and Beeston are going to have to match this. and achieve a little bit more possession than they've got at the moment.
Sam Taylor again has got a lot of space, decides to go down the middle, straight to a Beeston stick, however turned over by Fox. Fires the ball into the circle, and the umpire is just about to stop play. Is there a player down? Did that just flick off?
Yeah, I think it's just hit him, looks like it's hit him around the knee.
It's not a happy movement, is it, that?
No. Josh Pavis, I think they're wearing one, as they say. But, yeah, Sam Taylor, former England under-21 captain. And I like the way that University of Exeter are passing this ball around at the moment. They've a lot of possession, attempt to feed the ball into the D early there.
Yeah, nice idea, but it was a bit probably too quick for it to stick.
Yeah.
Moving the ball quickly, surprised the defenders. There's a lot of quality in this University of Exeter side.
And I think this is the point, you know, you look at the league and you see them having difficulties at the bottom of the league, but there's only 10 teams in there, 11 teams in there, and they're all quality to a certain extent. And you know, you can't be complacent.
Hopeful aerial bomb dropped towards Simon Hujwan, who I don't think could have cleaned that successfully. So that was a nice idea.
Yeah, dangerous. Anything that goes into the D that's sort of off the ground, it makes life very difficult for defenders, because they've got to watch its trajectory, make sure they get close to the point of it landing, and then keep it away from their feet. Bit of time spent on the ball here with the Beastons back four. Settling things down,
yeah, letting the visitors know who's in charge of the game. So that's the theory anyway.
This is where they need to make more connections and keep the possession, because there's a lot of pressure from University of Exeter's midfield there and their forwards.
Early moments, 9 minutes gone on BTV, and that's the turnover on halfway. I think there's a little bit more pace in the Exeter side than the Beeston side, but we'll see how that maintains throughout the game.
Yes, that ball, I didn't quite see who gave that, but straight to an Exeter player, and they were very quick to transfer it and put the pressure back on. They have a restart in high in Beeston's half.
Hunter decides to cross the field. It's to the edge of the 23, flicked away, miscontrol still with the visitors in white.
Yeah, making some good moves and connecting passes. Look at the space that they have
very
there.
Neat across, and that's gone the way of the defensive side.
Yes.
Hearts in mouth, I think, in the Beeston defence. That was almost textbook to turn the ball in from short distance.
Well, I did think, as he was so far along the baseline, that might have been a slip towards the penalty flick spot, but I think the forward thought he saw a bit of the goal. Simon Hujwan thankfully covered that. Ball pace, that would be something there. That was very, very slow from, I think that was Joe Paul. Just needs to move that speed of pass on a bit.
If you get into the habit of slow movement, it will permeate the rest of the game.
Yes, it does.
Simmons on the left-hand side of the circle, just on the outside. Can he find a route to goal? Can he find a penalty corner? No, is the emphatic decision from the umpire.
That's right. Well, Beeston coach Gareth Andrew will be looking at this outletting from the back, because, again, too many times it's either been passed or run onto a University of Exeter player's stick, and it causes all kinds of trouble when the ball keeps coming back at you. Only it ends up a matter of time before they win a corner or something.
Bradshaw goes to ground. Big appeal, no hint of a card there, but there was definitely a connection that took the player down.
Yeah, I think a little bit more quality from Beeston at the moment, just to make sure that this ball progresses to University of Exeter's half of the pitch.
That's a great ball right into the corner, making Ben Fox chase and then through the corner flag.
Yeah, just a little bit too far ahead of him. But, and off we go again. Beeston sitting very deep, no intent to press the University of Exeter defence at all. Robbie Gleeson there trying to get under the trajectory of the aerial, but he was always travelling towards it, and difficult to bring that ball down on his reverse stick. And here we go again, a little bit higher up the pitch for University of Exeter with their transfer.
Lowry gives, receives, is the fulcrum of this spell of possession.
Yes, yeah. Finding that right side of the pitch again, which has been quite useful for University of Exeter. Not quite trapped that one well enough. Dangerous position though.
It is indeed. They are making the most of those passes into space.
They certainly are. This is the consequence of not retaining enough possession when you're trying to get out of your own defensive areas, as Beeston have been doing. Too many turnovers. Bit of a pattern again. Beeston using the transfer where they pass the ball around amongst the back four just to settle. It's found its way yet again to a University of Exeter player.
But Fox in 15 plays the ball to the edge of the circle, picks and pops up off the stick. It was a difficult one to control, but the idea again was very good.
And he was in the space as well. I mean, I think if he had controlled that, there might well have been a free shot on goal, and just Simon Hudge ran to beat. So it's these little moments that I think are Beeston's issue at the moment, and nothing taken away from University of Exeter. Their press each time and pressure on the Beeston player has been excellent.
Whistle blows to our right. Eddie Harper decides to go straight down the middle, and here he is again.
Oh, his touch was just a bit.
In fact, this could work in Beeston's favour. That was a good scramble in defence, though. In possession, Sam Taylor for University of Exeter now.
Yeah,
almost an opportunity.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, just a little bit more control needed from the Beeston forwards, just to keep that ball tight. Hand skills a little bit quicker. But it was nicely tidied up by University of Exeter's defence there, and they're back in possession, so they'll look to be using the aerial to clear their lines this time.
Doesn't work though, and that's a shove in the back, and Jake Payton holds his hand to his head.
Yeah. Didn't hesitate, he actually almost carded himself, just ran straight for the bench.
I don't know if you picked that up on a camera or not, but I could see in real life he just took the water off the seat because it was absolutely soaking. So I think instead of sitting down and the clock starting, I think he's been given permission to remain standing. So
Yes.
we're definitely sure that was a card, and it is
We've got a tight position here. That's going to be a long corner restart for Beeston. Yeah, there we go.
So player up. Again, a decent ball to the left-hand side of the circle.
I think the long corners, since the rule was changed to allow corners to be taken along this 23-metre line, has made it quite an exciting restart. In line with where the offence has occurred or where the ball's gone off the back of the pitch, and it's quite dangerous. Previously, they used to be taken from the sideline, and it wasn't quite so effective.
I think the marks are still on the field of play, aren't they?
They are, that's right, yeah. But another little step that hockey made to improve it, to make it more options for goal scoring, more exciting spectacle, and I think that worked very well.
Once again, Ben Fox shields the ball, keeps it with University of Exeter. Aerial ball towards the left-hand side, and that was towards Elliot Sanderson, number 8.
Yes.
But it came at him a bit quickly.
Yeah, this water-based pitch does have a high bounce on it, and we see that at training nights. The amount of bounce that the ball has, it makes it a little bit more difficult to control, so you have to be precise on your skills.
It's a good point you just made there. Is there much of a difference? Because all the water-based pitches, you'd think maybe a standard like, will break off as University of Exeter break towards Ben Fox, has it taken off him. It's still in a dangerous position. In towards the edge of the circle, well watched.
Gleeson tidied that up. But look at that. I mean, that's really not a very clever outlet at all. That's made life very difficult for Beeston here.
And that's been turned in for the equaliser. Lewis Ridge, number 11.
Well, I think that's 4 times that Beeston on outletting have given the ball directly to a University of Exeter player, and you are bound to pay for that, as they have done there. There, look at that. It's to no man's land. Forward has run away and left progressing University of Exeter player. Great finish. Series of passes, excellent.
Right place, right time.
Exeter back to their full complement of players, and
second goal of the season, doubling his tally. Lewis Ridge, both from open play.
You see, when there's the contributory factor for that was the poor pass out from the back four. because University of Exeter pounced all over that, and then 4 passes connected, I think it was, and then it went. Quality finish.
Approaching the first quarter break. That was a very good time to score for
Definitely.
University of Exeter.
Yeah, just asserting their authority as they've been doing. We think they've had more possession than Beeston, and that is a shame that Beeston's let them back in.
Is there a chance to sling the ball into the circle? Good pace. There is an opportunity. Is there a shot at the end of this?
Very good defence. Very good. We were talking about that earlier, the low defence from University of Exeter there, and saved a possible goal scoring chance.
Our match clock is slightly different to the match clock on the field of play, so yes, it does say that we've got 17.5 minutes on the screen clock, and that is the end of play for the first quarter. Quite a lot of drama and skill, and a couple of very good finishes in all of that.
I agree, enjoyable to watch, but I think, you know, it's a similar pattern to last week's game, with Beeston having got off to a great start but not being sufficiently composed afterwards to stop the pressure of the University of Exeter.
Beeston 1, University of Exeter 1. Henry Croft opening the scoring for Beeston with a contender for goal of the season.
Yeah.
And University of Exeter equalising about 2 minutes away from the end of the quarter. Lewis Ridge with a goal from near to the goal line. Nothing Simon Husband could do in that situation.
No, he was completely exposed, and because University of Exeter's passing was excellent, they just a very simple finish for the striker. You were talking about the bounce on pitches. They are different brands of pitches, different heights of shock pad and surfaces, and you do get variable bounce of the ball, and it's important to understand either through your warm-up if you're a visiting team, or certainly from a home team, exactly how that pitch plays. It can make a difference.
So the teams in their huddles getting brief instructions. What's the main takeaway from Beeston? What would you change? One thing you would change in the second quarter?
Well, I think every time they've tried to outlet from the back four through the midfield, it's been picked off by a very progressive formation set by University of Exeter. That Beeston have been much better at using the half-backs to outlet and maybe connecting with the midfielders further up the pitch. So they've got to learn from that. The University of Exeter are looking for anything that's loose and sloppy from the Beeston defence, and that's given them a number of attacks. From University of Exeter's point of view, they need to be aware of the counter-attack potential that we've seen a couple of times from Henry Croft and Gareth Griffiths that could be difficult for them.
So the scene is set. We're ready for quarter two. 17.5 minutes gone. Beeston 1, University of Exeter 1. This is BTV, and we are rolling again.
As we were saying, almost perfect conditions for hockey. There's little wind, sun's shining. It's sort of suited for the better of the skills.
Indeed. Jack Taylor just involved with a little bit of a nudge with his opposite number, whose number I didn't catch, so that's why I'm not naming both players. But yeah, there's a little bit of unfriendly bumping.
Yeah, bit of physical play, asserting authority on your opposite number.
There's a slip, so close to a turnover, but that is very, very good recovery, and that's well watched from Harper, who's found the ball and found a layoff and returned possession back to Beeston.
Now, if you look at the height of the press of the University of Exeter players, they've got a very high forward, closing down every Beeston receiving player. That's Robbie Gleeson's done very well there, but it was potentially a bit risky.
Straight through the middle, and I think that was Croft who was closest to it, and it was just beyond the reach.
Yes. I think the slightly concerning thing from Beeston's point of view is they've had their one attack and the great goal from Henry Croft, but a little bit of a goal mouth Melly, but not a lot else. And I think they need to probably start to think about pressing a bit higher up the pitch, causing University of Exeter a few more problems on possession.
Josh Bavis doing well to reach the ball, however, University of Exeter get the whistle. Very direct.
Yeah.
And it's moving around to the right-hand side. There's a swarm of bees as we're looking at it on the far side of the field. There's 2 players that could have gone to for Exeter. Ball into the circle, bounces a couple of times, play is still live. First player to it is University of Exeter. Appeals for the first penalty corner of the game.
I think the point you've made there, Andy, is very important. First player to it, because I'm sensing University of Exeter pretty much first to most things at the moment. So important, particularly when you're defending your D, that you don't allow the forwards on the ball.
That's a hopeful ball across the face.
Interesting that they're prepared to do that. They've a number of times just fed that ball into the D. It can cause all kinds of havoc. And the more often you're in the D, the more chances you create. The whole nature of the game of hockey, with goals being scored from within the D, is that that's your point of target. You need to build your patterns to make sure you get that ball in the D as often as possible to give yourself the most chance of scoring goals.
If you were to pick a line on the field of play as to where the average ball position has been, it's probably been about here.
I think that's right, Andy. Yeah.
Robbie Gleeson finds a pass out to the right-hand side. This is a little bit better, although not quite enough on it, so Connor Syne couldn't get the ball.
Yeah. I don't really see the need for such a risky pass in that phase of the game. You want a lot more certainty about how you feed the ball around.
Here's Syne playing the ball into the corner, and Croft couldn't bring it under his spell.
Yeah, I mean, even though University of Exeter have equalised, Beeston need to keep their tempo high, standards high, quality on the ball. Still dropping off to quite a deep defensive first line.
It's a studied press,
yes,
from Beeston. They aren't overcommitted, they aren't full on, and I think that's easier for University of Exeter to make a way through.
I agree, I think that's right, and the midfielders have been progressive. They've been getting through the Beeston midfield line very easily, carrying the ball, and they do travel quickly with it, so each time there's a runner running with the ball, it's been at good pace.
Here's an attempted ball in, and that's been blocked. It's still with Exeter. Into the circle, umpire right on it, and there's an opportunity for a shot, and that's somehow come away. And Beeston can break if they can get their skates on, but look at the pace in defence from University of Exeter. There's already a number of players back, and that's
very good work.
Jack Taylor.
Very good work. Beeston's intent to work these counter-attacks as quick as they can.
Nice ball, and that's really been picked up well by Will Prentice. Beeston ball. That's a nice couple of movements linked together.
Very definitely a much better way of attacking, keeping that ball close to the stick, getting yourself a restart from this more dangerous part of the pitch.
Towards the circle, shot towards goal. It's been suched away by Tager Seeger Green in the University of Exeter goal. That bounced and bobbled. It was a difficult one to match.
It was. Sam Apula on the edge of the D, got his shot away, and it was a bit bouncy, so keeper's done very well to save that.
In on the second time, it's gone through a couple of players. Long corner is the signal. Good spell, probably the best spell from Beeston, even including the goal spell.
Yeah, I think this is what they needed to do. They've got to put more pressure on University of Exeter.
Nice idea from Gleeson. We're going to go for another corner, a long corner again. This time to the left. Goalkeeper comes out of the goal, and that's played across. No one was there to touch it in, but it did come off. A University of Exeter player last. Sorry, I know Musson, you want to come in, but there's so much happening.
No, that's fine. It's
another ball towards the circle, and that's been played away, and I think now is good.
This is what we've been wanting to see, a little bit more action at the University of Exeter's end, and quick progression of the ball into the D. Good defence.
That fizzles out from a Beeston perspective, but well watched.
I think it is a feature that University of Exeter's defence they're pretty secure, and it's going to take some good skills to beat them. But one of the best ways to do it is to keep them under pressure for longer periods of time, in the hope that there will be mistakes. It's done very well to control that.
Beeston defending in numbers, I think defending the space rather than...
Much better recovery work from Beeston to get back to some form of defensive shape. This is where they need to make sure that they take this ball away.
Homicide thought he was away and free there.
He did.
Patrick Hunter trying to fool the Beeston defence.
Yeah.
Bringing up the spray.
This is where there's a lot of space for the University of Exeter because of the depth at which Beeston are defending. And that does allow you that bit of vision, and then you get your higher players moving around a lot and creating the openings, and that's why their possession has been quite good high up the pitch.
Now, was that a shot towards goal, or was that a pass, or was that a miscontrol?
I think it bounced off his stick. He was trying to control it, bring it under control, and just shot off the back of the line, but back of the pitch. Down into the midfield again, a little bit better space, and although they're close to the University of Exeter stick.
The speed out of defence is better, I think, than in the first quarter. We've seen an awful lot of very steady passing across the back, and when it came to that release forward,
yes,
it was anticipated.
Yep.
If that's quicker,
I agree. I think that's what Beeston's counter-attacks have got to be much slicker.
Huge area ball taken down very nicely on 23.
Controlled. Look at the space that's created.
In towards the circle. Is there a turn and shot on the end of this? Beeston have done very well to shield the goal. It's in towards the goal, and the Beeston stick brings it out of danger, and they will be grateful for that whistle.
Yeah, a little bit of composure was applied there, and Josh Pavich just picking that up and then drawing the foul so he can restart. But again, we saw University of Exeter's speed of attack. They've been very good at it.
This time from the restart, trying to make things happen down the left-hand side. And that is nice, and support is coming. The ball towards the circle takes a couple of touches, and it's brought under the spell. I think that's Ben Fox. However, it's not cleanly away. Maybe this time.
Yeah, very good.
Chase is on again.
They're very difficult to break down at the back, or University of Exeter. They set very early and well.
We're stoppage here. I think we're going to see certainly the captain Griffiths is going over for a chat, and I think the umpire was about to definitely reached into his pocket. Didn't see a card come out. Yes, but I think it's another warning.
A slight body movement from the umpire when you think he is going for his card, but he didn't. Yeah, we did talk about that from an umpiring point of view before the game. You don't need to always throw cards around it, but you do maintain control.
Things looking promising. Shot on the reverse, and that sprawling Hujwan. Happy to see that go wide of his left leg.
A lot of space to Simon Hujwan's left there. If that were slightly more accurate, that could have been a second goal for University of Exeter.
This is a cracking game developing here. Croft again under pressure, tries to find a way through, finds a whistle instead.
Yeah, very strong on the ball. He'll be just needs to maintain his composure. He'll get another chance at some point soon, I'm sure.
Moving it around the edge of the circle, picked up by Taylor for Exeter.
I think it should have been picked up by a Beeston player, really, Andy. That's a mistrap.
I think we may be seeing a card in a moment or two.
Yeah,
I thought that was a long blow on the whistle, but play allowed to continue and pace from Bradshaw in towards the circle, play towards goal, and that's a really nice idea. Sliding in to try and turn the ball into the goal.
Yeah, well, no shortage of effort from the University of Exeter players to get in front of the goalkeeper for any crosses.
Just to confirm, no card, by the way, no player sitting down, I don't think.
It looked a little bit like there was a green card, but obviously didn't happen.
Because I think the restart was too quick.
Yes. Henry Croft a bit annoyed by that. I think he didn't think it hit his foot.
Captain Lowry.
Just look at the depth of the defence, though, Andy. I mean, all Beeston players in their own half at that point. It must be a deliberate attempt to win the ball in their own half and counter-attack. I think they...
Well, it's certainly a technique that's worked once.
Yes.
So we're not disputing the usability of that tactic.
No, I think that's right. But the other thing, of course, is I think it's been a lot of pressure onto the Beeston defence. They're having to mop up lots of stuff to keep this aggressive press line from University of Exeter under control. They keep winning the ball back.
Just a bit of an update. It was Ben Collinson of Beeston who was shown a green card. So currently the hosts are down to 10 temporarily.
He didn't retreat, I think, at a free hit sufficiently quickly, and that is deemed to be an offence.
It all happens so quickly, and we're focused on about 8 things at once. So we're grateful for the feed of information where we can get it.
Yes.
2 balls on the field of play, just slowing things down a touch. Again, look at the support today. Really good support.
It's nice to see, isn't it? It's
as ever, more and more people on the balcony as well that you don't ever get to see on the pictures. Less than 5 minutes to go till half time. Will we get another golden opportunity for either team before the half?
Well, I think we talked about phases last week, and this is a crucial phase. Your 5-minute run into a half-time break, very important part of the game. How many opportunities to score can you create? And here we go, counter-attack space. That's
not connecting, is it?
No,
it's just
it
not
isn't.
Connecting.
No, I think the pass wasn't good enough, but you can't fault the University of Exeter player stepping in and picking that up. Beeston have to do better at these connections from midfield to forwards.
Another touch from Ansley on the left-hand side, just in front of the camera. I think the ball's going over to him again. Yes, it is.
Exeter very comfortable with their passing. I mean, look at that, excellent. You talk about transfer around the back, that's straight across the middle of the pitch, and it's still with them.
Trying to twist and turn and get away through. It's still in a dangerous position, and then finally the chase is given up.
Well, I think if University of Exeter can keep this kind of tempo in their game, it's going to be very difficult for Beeston, because there will be these opportunities for University of Exeter to get to the D, which they've done very well in this half.
Back up to a full complement of players again, just for the next couple of minutes towards half time. It could really make a difference to the team talk. There's a ball across the face of the circle, fallen kindly towards the goal, kicked away, long corner.
Yeah, this is an opportunity for Beeston to upgrade this to potentially a short corner.
Now, choosing my word carefully, it did come off the goalkeeper and it was a save.
Yes, it was.
It wasn't kicked behind,
no,
which would have been a penalty corner. That's just
right.
Clarifying that for people who've seen that happen a couple of weeks ago.
That's right.
Why was that
right?
one?
Have we seen a short corner yet? I don't think we have.
No, we haven't. We've had none in the first quarter, and my stat box tells me none in the second.
With the amount of possession that University of Exeter have had in the Beeston D, that's something I'm sure they'll look to do, to try to create themselves a corner opportunity. I think that's well retreat tackle there from Brendan Andrews, and he's on the ball. Oh, he's not quite on the ball.
Got a funny feeling this next 3 minutes is going to be quite a slower tempo.
Yes, yeah, that's. From my perspective, I think you'd want to use. I would want to see Beeston under this situation with a further half of the game to go, to try to put this somewhere near the D and try and pick up that first corner maybe.
Nice idea. That's something different.
Yep.
Low ball, adding towards the top of the circle, trying to find Brendan Andrews, who was highest up the field of play.
Yeah.
But something different. You can't just keep repeating the same tactic.
No, you can't. No, I think you allow sides to settle into patterns, defensive patterns, if you do the same thing all the time. So there's got to be a lot of movement from Beeston players. Now here's a chance to, a minute out. Let's put that ball somewhere dangerous.
It's not got the shape for a huge aerial, has it? So
No.
it's going to go along the ground.
That could do with coming out on the right-hand side. I don't think that ball needs to be on the left at that point. This is where it needs to be, and forwards.
Here's Joe Paul. What are the options here? It's along
There
the
you go.
sideline. It's a tumble.
Get round your man, get that ball into the D with not much time left on the clock.
60 seconds here. You would fancy that this will be the final attack of the half if it turns out to be an attack. Let's see how it...
I'd like to hear somebody shouting for them to get this ball somewhere dangerous. There's a chance to do that. There we go from Josh Pavis.
It's in the circle.
Corner needed here.
Goalkeeper comes out and meets. Umpire's right on top of things. It's still with Beeston, and the signal is it's a defensive free hit, and I think that's probably that for...
Yeah, you have to ask the question, what outcomes are you getting in the D when you get there? That's got to be something positive for Beeston and not just an easy release, because credit to University of Exeter, they defended well. We need to make more of it.
There's a slip. Is everything okay there? But,
quite a few players have slipped and fallen over in this half. I don't know whether the pitch is playing a bit slippy.
and that is the end of the half, and it did peter out
ultimately.
Yes. What we have seen is two very committed teams, full of pace and endeavour and skill, and a couple of very, very good goals. The headline is Beeston 1, University of Exeter 1. Half-time, Henry Croft opening the scoring for Beeston very early on. Lewis Ridge equalising before the end of the first quarter. What's your main takeaway from that half?
Well, I think from Beeston's point of view, they've got to be aware of the potential that Exeter have to press and to win the ball back off the Beeston defence. And Beeston needs to just be a little bit more composed in their counter-attacking and get more out of their time spent in the D. Just
to mark your card as well, we have a 7-minute half-time break where all the players are going to get refreshments today, so we'll do exactly the same. We'll recoup and be ready for the second half, which looks like it's going to be a cracker. It's half-time on BTV, Beeston 1, University of Exeter 1. To BTV. Conditions perfect for Premier Division hockey at Nottingham Hockey Centre. We've seen a dramatic first half, and in the balance of the game, even though the scores are level, you would think the visitors are a touch ahead.
I think so, yeah. I think their shape's been good, and their work rate to repossess the ball from Beeston has been excellent, and a bit of a warning sign, I think, from Beeston's point of view, that they need to make sure that they're not letting Exeter dominate the possession as much as they have been doing.
If you're just joining us now, it's Beeston in all black versus University of Exeter in all white. Beeston in the second half playing from right to left as the camera looks at it, attacking the car park end. And the reverse is true for University of Exeter. They're attacking the boulevard end in this second half. I don't think we've seen the end of the scoring either, have we?
No, I think not. I think both sides capable of scoring. I think in the context of this bottom five playoff, as it were, I think it's important to get wins. Wins the ball with nicely defended from Joe Paul.
A lot of pressure from the word go.
Yeah, definitely. They've been doing that. The University of Exeter have been doing this all through the first half.
And it's been stripped. Joe Mallett, who was yes, number 13, Joe Mallett, who was doing the hard work there.
Yes, yeah.
For University of Exeter. However, we will be coming back for a free hit.
Shows the benefit of forwards working back into defence there. Sam Apula forced the error and effectively won the ball back for Beeston.
Look at that, two players on straight
away, no hesitation.
And that forces the Beeston defence to have to react to move the ball quicker than they probably would have liked.
Yes, and this is the point I was making, Andy, really. If they're going to use that midfield pass as a way of trying to get out, they need to be careful, because Exeter are stepping onto that midfielder very, very quickly. Here we go again. Three players around.
Collinson is 24, he was green carded in the first half, and the ball is taken
Sloppy.
off him. And the pace from Charlie Taylor, the ball into the circle, shooting opportunity, and that's underneath Hodgman, who sort of bounces down off him, and he flicks a foot at it.
He's done well to save that. That looked for all the world like that was going to be a finish for University of Exeter's second. Simon Hodgman being called into action really early in the second half, having to defend almost one-on-one.
Sounds like I may have been doing a disservice there, but that's exactly what happened. He had to get a foot to it. He had to get the ball away. And the Beeston are right up the other end. Shot fund. It's a fantastic strike straight up the other end. And it looks like a second of the game for Croft.
Well, this is where I think Henry Croft is beginning to gradually come of age. If he gets these opportunities, his power of hit in this situation, absolutely excellent. But this build-up's good. The ball retained.
I think it may have just been a little bit of a missed opportunity for a tackle there right on the edge.
I think that's right, yeah. Again, Henry Croft's skill, which we saw last week in getting round that last defender, very good.
Moves on to 6 for the season, 1 behind Samapula, who's the current top scorer on 7 for Beeston.
Well, let's hope that Beeston have talked about the need to settle quickly. Here we go. This is good.
Counter-attack in progress here. It's an overload. Is there an opportunity for a shot? That's a really good interception and clearance into safety for University of Exeter. Well watched, and Beeston could have made more of that though.
Yeah, Henry Croft again on the run. And
straight up the other end. Here's Lewis Ridge, who's been on target already in the game. He's held up at the edge of the circle. This has gone absolutely berserk in the last 2 minutes.
I don't think you can get more end-to-end than this at the minute.
It's into the circle again, and the umpire signals it's a Beeston ball by the looks of things.
Yeah.
I thought he was considering it had gone out off the Beeston stick, but no, it is a Beeston ball.
Must have hit a foot, I think, Andy, on the way through, so restart in a dangerous position. But we've been both ends of the pitch inside 15 seconds
might
there.
Be a long corner, you know.
Oh, it is, yeah. Here we go.
Into the circle quickly. This time it's straight through.
Yes, it is, and that's a bit of a shame because, again, this would be a great time from Beeston's point of view to win the first corner of the game. That was an opportunity to do that. Well, we didn't think it was going to be the last of the goals, did we, at 1-1? So
well,
you made the point.
One of those times when you can give yourself a smug commentary pat on the back.
Right. It has been that sort of open-ended game, though, hasn't it? We've seen both sides being able to get to the opponent's D on a number of occasions, and in slightly different ways. Beeston's through counter-attack, the University of Exeter through this patient build-up.
Just thinking as well, Exeter again have had the majority of the possession in the 4 minutes, nearly 5 minutes we've had of this half, but it's Beeston have been on the target. How demoralising must that be to know that you've been on top?
Yes, and I think it's one of the benefits of having an out-and-out striker like Henry Croft is that he is capable of creating something that looks like it's pretty much from nothing.
I think it also adds to create a sense of panic as well when Beeston break, because having been, no pun intended, stung twice with the same sort of finish, Eddie, that would really sort of engender panic in me if I was in the Exeter defence. We've lost the ball, oh no.
And that's part of the game as well. It's what you're trying to do is to create nervousness and interfere with confidence and that sort of thing, so you can create
There's a mistake in the end, and look at that chasing straight at the end of the field. There is an outlet in Jack Taylor, who's done well to get the ball up the field of play, and he's continued his run, and that's gone wrong from a University of Exeter point of view. Panasar plays the ball
again.
His opportunity for number 3, and how close was that?
Well, again, it's a great pick on the edge of the D from Henry Croft, who's created the space with his tight hand skills. He just mishit that slightly wide of the keeper's left post.
It looked, and we were right behind it with a camera view, almost looked as if it faded away from the post.
Yes,
somehow.
yeah, he almost sort of hooked it a bit, didn't it? It was. So he's definitely the danger man as far as University of Exeter is concerned at the minute.
And straight into the circle. This game's crying out for another strike on goal, and that's been saved again. What a quarter this is.
Well, we've just seen the patterns of each team again. That build-up was excellent from University of Exeter, and their work rate to get the ball back, it's never ending. Bit of patience needed from Beeston now, make sure they connect a number of passes and take the ball away from the half.
Cool heads, I think, in defence. Don't invite.
Don't like this.
That's
don't like this.
Exactly, I was about to say, don't invite the opportunity to give the ball away, and that is almost exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Do you feel the words getting stuck as I was saying? And And there's a long blow on the whistle, and I don't think it's the umpire on the near side, I think it's the far side. Is everything...
Yeah, Robbie Gleeson showing his pace down that tight flank.
I think we have had another card shown, and it's for University of Exeter. You can see just to the left of the camera shot, it's number 8, Elliot Sanderson, who's been shown the card.
Tackle on Robbie Gleeson, but Beeston in possession, a good area here with Samapula.
We're trying to get the nature of the card. It's a green that we're hearing for Elliot Sanderson.
Attempted cross from an awkward angle, really, from Robbie Gleeson. Wide out on the right. Put up nice and easily by Exeter. Bit of tidying up needed here.
Panasar, look at that.
That's nice.
That was calm. There was a high level of risk, but when you've got the control and confidence in your own ability, it's easy.
Well, this is better from Beeston now. They're connecting more passes
and
finding the D. Yeah.
But that's a firm stick on it from Ben Fox in the University of Exeter defence. The sound connection.
He's covered really well at the back.
Now it's Exeter's turn to go long and trying to go route 1, and that doesn't pay off. But that's a warning that Exeter have learned that they can't rely always on building the pressure to put it onto Beeston. It's trying something new.
Yeah, that's right, being unpredictable. Where's that gone to? There's a little bit more work needed from the Beeston forwards there to just get on the end of that, because it's gone straight back to University of Exeter. Suki Panasar with the ball, made a nice connection there.
Nice slip pass, just taking the pace off, a bit disguised too. Rather than going hell for leather, slowing things down, and things are starting to come together in this attack for Beeston. Player goes to ground, free hit, and that's
Beeston's quick restart.
Played across the face of goal. Who got the final touch on that long corner? We can see.
Still can't work a short corner into the repertoire on either side at the moment. That little line of defence, ringing the free hit, that's a good setup. There's a lot of discipline in the University of Exeter setup.
Oh, and that's been stolen high up the field, and that's disappointing from a Beeston perspective. Look at the pace, though. You can see Lewis Wiltshire just in the middle of your picture, support, and he's gone back to Ben Fox, who's come a long way with it.
Unforced error. It's just what Beeston don't need.
Nick Nurse is on the edge of the circle as well. Who's a name I've not quite, I think I've recalled mentioning yet. Number 9 for University of Exeter, but definitely the movement's been good there. Beeston have done well to see that off.
Yes, yeah, put that ball back into Exeter's half, but I think it was an unnecessary turnover.
Hunter with the ball forward. He's just been nudged out of play. Now, that's allowed probably 2 minutes of possession.
Yes.
For Exeter, and they're looking to build again. That spins off.
Here they go for the
D again.
Chance.
Not just yet. Now it's in the circle.
Corner.
And that is the first corner of the game. Reece Bradshaw, the player for University of Exeter, on the ball.
Deliberately won, getting around the outside of the Beeston defender and creating the foul, which led to the first corner of the game. There we go, nice little turn.
I think it was Ben Collinson who's already been shown a green card. It could have been a foot. I think there was also a little bit of an arm involved as well, so it could have been one of two things.
Well, I think, sometimes you have to accept that you're probably not going to get your shot off, so the next best option is to win a corner.
Max Lowery is the player likeliest to field that one. He's just second to the left on your screen right now. He scored here back on November the 21st. Beeston making sure all their kits in place for defence.
Yeah, very necessary protective equipment. So you can see quite clearly there, the two Castles, 22 and 9, are the ones who like to trap the ball, and the two guys behind.
Ridge really wide on the right hand side, but he's not being used at the moment. That's been padded away, and play is stopped.
That's
Rear Ward.
Yeah, that's come up off Simon Hudjuan. He didn't really have a lot he could do about that. He's done well to get in the way of the flick.
Just time to see that before we go back to live. We are live now.
So second corner, so come on Beeston, you need to be on this one.
Movement to the right of the circle. Big appeal. Are we going again? Yes, we are going again. And look at that. I think it's goal scorer Croft who's not moving about very well. You can tell what happened there. Just
you can. He tried very hard not to limp at first, just in case the umpire might perceive he'd got his stick to it, but I think it was pretty obvious. But he's doing very well because he's running straight out into the line of the flicker, so it's a difficult job.
Little twist around the edge of the circle, change in the angle, out towards the right-hand side. Player down. It's been turned in for the second equaliser of the game.
Very similar pattern to last week's game, Andy, I think, really. The great follow-up again to get that finish after, I think, an initial save from the corner. And then the forwards following up has put that in. There.
Just right in front of the goal.
Yeah, he just fell loose, and no hesitation in putting that in. Honours even again. The similarities here between this game and the one we looked at last week, with Beeston leading and then being pegged back again, it's so incredibly similar.
But it's another goal that came from a spell of pressure from the University of Exeter, this time in a sequence of penalty corners.
Yes, yeah. Ball released from the back there, and not trapped by Beeston, so the pressure comes back again, inevitably comes back again.
That's very calmly done in defence, just taking a touch, then just enough time to have a look around, make sure no one was behind. And this has turned into a promising moment for Brendan Andrews. He finds Gareth Griffiths on the left-hand side. He plays the ball into the circle, takes a couple of touches, and it looks like it's going to be a Beeston ball, so it must have been a defensive touch that took it away.
Nice cross actually from there, because obviously every chance for a sliding forward to get in on that, but deflected away. Restart for Beeston.
In from the right-hand side this time.
Trying again.
Ball controlled on the baseline. Big pressure. Really not allowing anyone to get out. I think there may be a possibility that Beeston aren't allowing a way out, and then the whistle may blow against them. And that's precisely
exactly
what's happened.
Yeah, you've read that very well, Andy. That's spot on.
It's almost like I've been watching this sport for a couple of years.
Oh, nice control there in the middle of the park.
That's fallen kindly. That's Ben Collinson, who's travelled in towards the edge of the circle. I think he's had a bit of a swipe at him.
And he has... Oh, well, no, he's won a free. I thought for a minute he'd won a corner.
It was a free hit just outside the edge of the circle. Played him brilliantly. Seeger Green has to scramble to see that one away.
Yeah, forwards need to be so alert in those tight areas. That ball's fed in front of the keeper, and no Beeston player able to get on the end of that.
We're still waiting for official confirmation who scored that second goal. So we can't tell you at the moment. So the graphic may be missing a goal scorer when we get to three-quarter time.
He didn't oblige us by turning around and showing us his number, did he? Yeah, so here we go again. What are we? We're 20 odd minutes out from the end.
Oh, really nice attempt at an interception, sharply off the blocks, and it's I think that created a bit of confusion.
It did. I think that's right. The very fact that he tried to get that ball upset the vision of the Exeter player. Nicely picked.
Is there a third goal for Beeston? Don't forget, we will be breaking for three-quarter time shortly. Another free hit, promising position on the right-hand side.
Can they upgrade this? Can Beeston get their first corner? Be a good time to do it.
You can throw a blanket pretty much over the University of Exeter players. Into the circle they go. Another free hit just outside the circle. Taken quickly out towards the sideline. Fired in this time, but well watched.
Very well watched again. The pattern we've seen from the Exeter defence, low and set early, and it's paid dividends for them because they've won the ball back.
Nice.
Useful little aerial.
Yeah, to find Joe Mallet on halfway. I thought Mallet's control was going to be good there.
Yeah, I think he's
textbook.
Yes, I think he's the defender would not be happy with that. Nice little aerial into space. In the middle of the park, Banasar here.
He's done excellently to shield the ball away and then win a free hit.
He's got 5 players around him at that point, so
it's like a magnet at the moment.
yeah. I think this has been a trend from Exeter's point of view. They do close areas down quickly.
Take it down on the edge of the circle into, and there's a shooting opportunity, and that's wide of the upright. You heard the cheers in the distance from the crowd who thought it'd been turned in.
Eddie Harper there just missed the final touch, I think, after a bit of tricky skills. There's that aerial again. And this time he's got it. Yeah. A lot of space for the I think that was Lewis Wiltshire in the middle there. I think he had loads of space.
We're anticipating the whistle blowing for 3/4 time, and that is exactly what's happened. So, Beeston 2, University of Exeter 2. Henry Croft scoring for Beeston to give them the lead back, and it's another equaliser for University of Exeter following a spell of 3 penalty corners.
Yes.
No penalty corners yet for Beeston, but we're all square with 1/4 to play.
And the pattern between this week and last week's uncanny. To find ourselves heading into the last quarter of the game, 2-2. It's there for the taking for either side. Both sides have been able to create scoring opportunities. But as you say, Beeston haven't had any corners.
There's still time for the complexion of the game to change entirely. We saw a transformative performance in the final quarter from Beeston women yesterday, who suddenly came out of their shells and were more authoritative in their approach and the play.
Yeah.
And it's just to say, I'm not saying that this will happen, but it can happen in games. A real different final quarter.
Well, the fight factor now, it's going to be which team wants to win this and who's going to create the most opportunities, or alternatively, not give so many errors, create so many errors. Exeter have been very good on possession. I've been impressed with the way they've passed the ball around. Beeston's counter-attacking continues to be there, and of course they've got 2 goals that way. So it's going to be an interesting last quarter.
So we are pretty much set for what will be an engaging and intriguing final. 17.5 minutes at Nottingham Hockey Centre on BTV. This could be 2 wins in a week for Beeston. It could be the first win of the season in the league for University of Exeter. It really is in the balance.
Yeah, it is. I think from Beeston's point of view, you know, they want to win the game, but they don't want to lose it under any circumstances. A win for University of Exeter could see a little bit of momentum for them, with games left to play.
Straight down towards the baseline and just held up outside the circle. Is that a foot? No.
Oh!
And look at the frustration.
I think Henry Croft was deliberately trying to win a corner there and feels he did. Andy Higgins didn't see it that way as the umpire. Bit of a shame. That would have been a nice start to the quarter for Beeston. Oh, nice Sam Apula stepping in again, doing his defensive work as a forward. That's going to go right into the corner.
Yes, it's been held up and notched behind. And that did come off a University of Exeter stick.
Yeah.
To the disbelief of the player, I think. It
Yes.
was Seb Ansley who was pretty much certain that came off a Beeston player, but from the view we had and the umpires,
Yes.
I don't think there's any doubt. Just confirmation as well, we've had it come through the news wires. It's Reece Bradshaw who scored the 2nd equaliser for University of Exeter, making it 2-2. He's a player that scored from close in.
Yes, yeah. 4 Beeston players there, all in the same position, and the ball fed through and not one of them managed to get on the end of it. That's something they have to improve in the next 15 minutes.
Ball coming out the sky. I think the sun is a factor here as well, particularly in the direction the camera is pointing. If the ball's coming out the sky, it's difficult to spot. Ball into the circle, mopped up by captain Max Lowry again.
Yeah, I think Henry Croft received that well, tried to find Sam Apula a bit like he did last week. And those 2 could have a crucial role to play in the end of this game.
If you've been watching us through the rest of the game, you might have heard us mention at the start that Stephen Wood is on the bench.
He
for
is,
this
yeah,
game
making
so
up the
far.
numbers, seeing as a late cry off for the Beeston team.
So he has not yet featured, and I think exceptional circumstances. I think because if,
Yes,
if there was a comfortable difference in the number of goals for either side,
Yes,
I think he would have come on by now. However, with the game so tight,
it's Henry Croft again. Is he finding any way through? That's a long corner. He is a nuisance, you have to say, of Henry Croft. He creates situations, and he's going to be highly needed in this last few minutes if Beeston are going to get a win. That's got to be a penalty corner. Yep, not retreating by the University of Exeter defender. I think Suki Panasar had read that, ran at the defender who was supposed to retreat a distance and didn't, and that's an automatic corner.
It's not going to be a very exciting replay, but here it is, and you can see
them very close there. Restart, runs at the defender who makes the tackle within too close a distance.
that's a fundamental, I think.
It is, yeah. I think it's an unforced error. You need to make sure you set up correctly, which, to be fair to University of Exeter, they have been doing, but get your distances right, because that's just an easy decision for the umpire.
What's not helped, I think, or aided the umpire's decision, is that the player was right on that dotted line.
Yes, that's right. Yes, you could see quite clearly. Now this is interesting because
time is off whilst just to get that out as well. The clock is stopped on the screen at 56:09. University of Exeter just getting their gear on, protecting, ready for this incoming penalty corner attempt.
the player who runs number one's got protection on his legs, because if he gets out far enough, that's probably where it might hit him, and then the guys on the line have got face protection and other strategic protection.
Towards the middle, played in, goalkeeper's down, still live, and well defended and appreciated, I think, by the crowd from the University of Exeter.
Taylor Seeger-Green saw that very clearly. A great left foot kick. Did go back to Gareth Griffiths, but another player that seems to have slipped at the point where he tried to hit the ball. So a little moment there, Beeston's first corner. I think they're going to need 2 or 3 more.
From a pure stat head point of view, that's a shot on target.
Yes.
However, it was well defended and well blocked.
Yeah, it looked comfortable for Taylor Seeger-Green. He didn't really struggle with it at all. Pressure there, a little bit more pressure from Robbie Gleeson, much higher up. But of course that offers opportunities for counter-attack from University of Exeter.
Taylor's progress is held up and illegally wanting the ball going back to a still position on the field of play for the restart, and it will be Jack Taylor. Oh, actually, I thought it won't be Jack Taylor. Ball into the circle.
Yeah, I think
risky from Simon Hujwan, but he's read it well.
Yes, he's managed to stop any kind of attack from that one. Interesting, he seems to have gone static at that point when the ball looked like it was winnable from a Beeston perspective.
Taken down by Taylor. Taylor is impeded. But it turns out it is he is the player doing the impeding.
Yeah, that's right. And Josh Davis on the ball. Suki Panasar in the middle of the park.
It's the first time we've seen the camera down this end for 4 or 5 minutes or so.
Yes, it is. Yes, I think Beeston obviously pushing hard to get these 3 points. Of course, if you do overcommit, then you can leave gaps in your own defence, and they'll be mindful of that.
The say, you can see the flags blowing around. It is very warm under glass. I'm not entirely sure what it's going to be like out there to play in, but I think you can imagine a little tiredness setting in as we get towards the final 10 minutes of the game or so. Ball played in high, and that's too high.
That's not helpful. I don't wish to be overly critical, but you have to execute your skills better than that in this phase of the game. Just to get under that in some kind of reverse stick cross, there's no help to anybody. And hopefully they'll pick that up on the video later in the week when they're at the training session.
That's how you make your new friends, isn't it?
It is.
Nice turn from Nurse and
a bit of pressure.
Away.
Bit of pressure from Suki Panasar and Henry Croft.
Whistle blows again. Gleeson has a look around ball just inside the University of Exeter half. Hanasar, who's really grown into the game in the last...
last 10 minutes or so. He's
another Beeston free hit in the corner now. Do you play quickly or do you settle? I think that decision has been taken. It's settled. And Collinson sweeps the ball across the back. Now Beeston have been better, as we've been saying during the game, at playing it quickly and attacking quickly. This is now...
They're sensing an urgency, I think, to try to get this winner. But they're going to need to be careful and make sure they don't overcommit.
It's so easy to give the ball away under pressure. Onto the baseline, into the circle, slip ball back, goalkeeper's down. What's the signal?
Well, again, you know, you have to credit University of Exeter with their defence. That was been so easy to give a corner away if they weren't set properly.
Connor Sign looking to go directly through the University of Exeter defence, and that's not a euphemism. That's he was trying to go straight through the player. Let's see what happens as the ball's fired in towards the circle. It's still live on the baseline, getting closer and closer all the time. Goalkeeper's down. Is there a shot? Is there a chance? It's been put wide of the upright.
What an opportunity. That was a classic Samapula situation, and unfortunately he's not connected properly with that, but there was an open goal behind him.
Are we able to see that one again? We've got a few moments as Exeter go for the restart, because that was so promising. This is that replay again. There's the ball towards the baseline. The progress was good. You're not missing anything at the moment with a live play. There's the pick up. The goalkeeper have been bypassed. There's a control.
Here we go again. Another
back live. Ball being pushed out to the right hand side. A little bit of coming together with the Crofton Ridge. But all is okay.
Yeah, unfortunately it ran off a Beeston player's stick, so it's a restart for University of Exeter. The pressure being exerted by Beeston now. That's such a shame that wasn't a third goal for Beeston.
There's a
yes, this is good work.
Shot opportunity. Ball come up, I think, off the defender, and I think it was Sam Taylor who was doing the hard work.
Again, good defence from University of Exeter. They've been very good at getting a stick on the ball. That's not quite so good.
Absolute gift. And look at the speed and look at the determination. Elliot Sanderson absolutely busting a gut to get towards the edge of the 23. But Beeston in possession again. You can't take your eyes off of this with 8 minutes to go on BTV. Ball played towards the edge of the circle. Shooting chance. Goalkeeper's been bypassed and turned in. It's a hat-trick for Henry Croft.
Well, I mean, he's had a quite simply marvellous game today, and that hat-trick, such a bonus to have him in the side for Beeston. He's really performed today, and they've needed him to. But this was a good flat reverse stick cross, and then he controlled it sufficiently to give himself the time, bit of stick work.
Also, Sam Taylor, who's had a very steady game in impressive defence, I think he got a touch on that, which actually helped Henry Croft.
Strangely, I think that's right, Andy. He did. It slowed the pace of the ball down a little bit.
There's still twists and turns.
There are. And I don't think for a minute that University of Exeter won't create some opportunity again in the Beeston D. Again, the pattern from last week, very similar.
University of Exeter ball on the sideline.
Yeah, some skills there. Look, he's creating space, but that's nicely stepped in by, is that Ben Collinson, I think, who's done his defensive work there. Won the ball back for Beeston. I think it's not difficult to pick a man of the match today as far as Beeston's concerned. That's not doing Exeter down at all, because I think one or two of their players have had super games, particularly the defence. There we go. That's an unforced error in a crucial part of the pitch.
Taylor with a restart in towards Wiltshire. Wiltshire looks up towards the ball towards the edge of the circle. Flying attempt to control the ball in the circle. It runs out of play for a Beeston defensive hit. We've got 6 minutes left to play.
Yes.
And again, looking at that restart, trying to trick Seb Ansley into getting close to the ball, but Beeston having to play it backwards and build over halfway. It's getting it more and more difficult to see what's going on in the shadows on the far side of the field of play. You may be getting a better view of the game than we are. In towards the circle. chaos in the circle.
You have to keep this possession in this phase of the game. I think any Beeston player now who's not focused on the idea of keeping the ball for the team probably needs to step off, because it needs to be a real...
That, I must say, that option out of defence towards Samapula was brilliant, because of the number of players right on it. So a short pass is very likely to have been picked off.
Yes.
So a short skipping ball out to play, and that's another nice takedown.
Suki Panasar again. I think this is where the turnover shouldn't happen. It has to be protected and kept for the team.
And that's a nice fall over to the far side, or it looked like it was going to go to the far side. It just drifted back.
Nice control from... see who that is, number 21,
Sam Taylor.
Sam Taylor again. Yeah, he's had a really good game in defence, and cool player.
Attempt into the circle, and that's big cheer for something, but there was no touch on that.
No touch in the D, so it's gone straight through, and in order to get that goal, somebody from Exeter needed to get a touch on the ball. I think it was an offence as well.
Yeah, not real commitment, and that's nice to see with 4 minutes left of the game.
Yes.
Sometimes legs tire and minds tire as well. Full commitment from both sides, and there's a full-blooded challenge from Reece Bradshaw, who made it 2-2 earlier in the game.
Yeah, Beeston fighting hard for possession. I think it's a slightly bigger passing game that they need to space, so that they are not so threatened. But of course, the University of Exeter are not really going to let that happen. Their work rate is still high, as it's been throughout the whole of the game. It's Gareth Griffiths with a bit of space.
In towards the circle, nice layoff, and that's the empty goal, and that hits the post.
I don't know how that's missed. I really don't know how that's missed. University of Exeter have taken their keeper off, and that was an open goal. That would have been that would have finished it. It's hard to hit a post in hockey; they're so narrow.
We saw it yesterday, believe it or not. It's
Right.
2 games in a row on BTV that we've had a post connected with. And so what that tells us, as you mentioned, the goalkeeper going, Exeter absolutely want to get something out of this game.
Yeah, they've got 11 outfield players on there now, and that means that there's going to be what you'd almost call a power play in terms of numbers forward. They'll have their 4th forward in the D. They'll want that ball in the D as often as possible in the next 2-3 minutes, and Beeston need to take this away as tidily as possible.
That's padded away, ball still live. And is that a penalty
I think
corner?
he's given a corner for that. The save was high. It was a high save. He didn't have much choice, and it's gone back beyond the Exeter player in a way that would be considered to be a bit dangerous.
So whilst this is a positive for Exeter, time is continuing to tick whilst the setup happens for the penalty corner.
2 ways of looking at it. If you defend this well, then a lot of time's ticked away. But of course, a penalty corner, as we know, is a great opportunity. Pretty much always results in some kind of a shot on target.
Seb Ansley goes over to inject the ball. Beeston getting their preparation ready. I think, are we seeing the clock maybe stopped or not? Yes, we are.
Yeah.
It's almost like I anticipated that. That's
You
quite
did,
scary.
yes. I mean, Beeston will want to see the clock tick away as quick as possible, but of course they have this corner to defend, which is exactly what they had last week. 3-2 scoreline, corner at the end.
So we've already seen one penalty corner converted from close range at this end of the field. What's in the locker for University of Exeter for this event?
Well, Henry Croft, number 1 runner, will want to get there.
Little shuffle out to the left-hand side. It's been padded away. Big appeal, and Beeston have survived.
That's well defended. Well defended. Everybody was focused on that, and just looking at all the kit coming off.
Yeah, Sam Taylor was coming towards the umpire there. I think it was more to collect his stick than anything
else. Yes, that's right. Well, Beeston know exactly what the plan needs to be now. The ball needs to be at the far end of the pitch and held there. Game management as the aerial out.
Taken down. That was a shorter one than anticipated, but giving it to the strength that is Henry Croft.
I was going to say, I think that was enough of an offence on Henry Croft there for him to have won the foul. That's
unfortunate.
Unfortunately, at times I despair at that kind of pass.
Ben Fox brings the ball forward. There's just over a minute and a half still to play. There's still time to get the ball in the circle, which is what Exeter are trying to do right now, and that's, again, risky. I think that was from Joe Paul, who was trying that, and the visitors have got a free hit
on this, but
appeal for a penalty corner again. Ball gets close to the baseline, and that is a free hit, and a defensive free hit for Beeston with a minute and 15 to play.
Well, just going back to the start of that play that gave University of Exeter their attack, the pass was given straight away to an Exeter player by a Beeston player, and I just think you have to question what they're thinking, or what that player is thinking.
Minute to play. Exeter really wanting the restart to happen, and it has happened, and the ball has travelled a long way. Who's on that? It's being kept in. Beeston still have possession, and it's been picked up by Wiltshire. One more
they're getting this ball out quickly here. This is a good opportunity for
Ridge. Carries the ball over the 23, checks back, ball fired into the circle, well watched and well defended, and this one goes the full length of the field. That may have not been the right choice, because there's another 20 seconds to play.
Oh no, he's blown it, so I think our clocks were slightly out, so that's a second 3-2 win in a week for Beeston.
Indeed it is, and the final score on your screen now, Beeston 3, University of Exeter 2, doesn't begin to tell you the story of the game. Well, what we can do is tell you the goal-scoring sequence. It's a hat-trick for Croft.
Excellent.
He scored the first, third and fifth goals, sandwiched in between those equalisers for University of Exeter from Lewis Ridge and Reece Bradshaw. All of them very, very good goals.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw this again last week. The tempo was high. I think lots of flaws in both teams, which gave us an end-to-end game. But each of the goals that had been scored have been of a good quality. Pleased for Henry Croft and his hat-trick.
It's one that I'll be getting the tape out of this one and watching it again in the future. I think there's a lot to enjoy and also a lot to learn from both sides about the way the game went. A couple of things to pick up as well. So another one-goal defeat for University of Exeter. They remain on 1 point for the season, but as we're saying at their top of the show, it doesn't tell you what a season they've been having. They've been playing excellently. They've just been very unfortunate.
I agree. I think that's right.
And it's also 3 points on the board for Beeston, which moves them up to 15 points. At the start of the day, Oxford were on 16, so they will stay in second position, whatever happens with Oxford today.
Yes.
And also, if Oxford are playing, I can't quite remember, I do apologise. But another 3 points, important 3 points, and daylight.
I think Oxford have got their weekend off this weekend, haven't they? The other game is Brooklands versus Durham University.
So with that in mind, it's been a pleasure having you beside me today for
enjoyable game, yes,
for BTV. What we will have is more BTV next time. We'll be back on the 5th of March for Beeston versus Wimbledon in the Women's Premier Division. And as the sun continues to shine at Nottingham Hockey Centre, it's 3 points and a cracking day at the office for the Bees. This is BTV. Nice aerial ball towards Samapula. That's nicely taken down. You can see the umpire signalling play on. Croft, as you mentioned, force of nature, making their way around the edge of the circle now. A shot on the reverse and then in for the opening goal. First chance, and what a finish that is.
Well, he didn't have a lot of room to hit that from the edge of the deep.
Gleeson
tidied that up. But look at that. I mean, that's really not a very clever outlet at all. That's made life very difficult for Beeston here.
And that's been turned in for the equaliser, Lewis Ridge, number 11.
Well, I think that's 4 times that Beeston on outletting have given the ball direct quickly with it. So each time there's a runner running with the ball, it's been at good pace.
Here's an attempted ball in, and that's been blocked. It's still with Exeter. Into the circle, umpire right on it, and there's an opportunity for a shot, and that's somehow come away.
Yeah, we did talk about that from an umpiring point of view before the game. You don't need to always throw cards around it, but you do maintain control.
Things looking promising. Shot on the reverse, and that sprawling Hudgwan. Happy to see that go wide.
Here we go again. 3 players around.
Collinson is 24, he was green carded in the first half, and the ball is taken off
Sloppy.
him. And the pace from Charlie Taylor, the ball into the circle, shooting opportunity, and that's underneath Hojwan, who sort of bounces down off him, and he flicks a foot at it.
He's done well to save that.
Sounds like I may have been doing a disservice there, but that's exactly what happened. He had to get a foot to it. He had to get the ball away. And the Beeston are right up the other end. Shot fund. It's a fantastic strike straight at the other end, and it looks like a second of the game for Croft.
Well, this is where I think. So he's definitely the danger man as far as University of Exeter is concerned at the minute.
And straight into the circle. This game's crying out for another strike on goal, and that's been saved again. What a quarter this is.
Straight out into the line of the flicker, so it's a difficult job.
Little twist around the edge of the circle, change in the angle, out towards the right hand side, player down, it's been turned in for the second equaliser of the game.
Very similar pattern to last week's game, Andy, I think, really. The
University of Exeter defence, and that's not a euphemism, that's he was trying to go straight through the player. Let's see what happens as the ball's fired in towards the circle. It's still live on the baseline, getting closer and closer all the time. Goalkeeper's down. Is there a shot? Is there a chance? It's been put wide of the upright.
What an opportunity.
But Beeston in possession again. You can't take your eyes off of this with 8 minutes to go on BTV. Ball played towards the edge of the circle. Shooting chance. Goalkeeper's been bypassed and turned in. It's a hat-trick for Henry Croft.
Well, I mean, he's had a quite simply